Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Having big stars on the roster is not enough to be a champion, you need a strong supporting cast, both defensively and offensively, and a player who would fit perfectly with the Lakers is Trey Murphy III, who is only 24 years old, is a proven scorer, one of the NBA's standouts and is also a good defender. A great trade suggestion to have a super team with the Lakers. Negotiation with the Pelicans brings the great Trey Murphy III to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are among the favorites to acquire Trey Murphy III. The Los Angeles Lakers surprisingly lost in 5 games to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round of the 2025 playoffs. Following that early exit, the Lakers are expected to make moves this offseason, and they're considered one of the favorites to be Trey Murphy III's next team. 003. Murphy would be a good addition to the Lakers. The 24-year-old averaged 21.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.1 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game for the Pelicans before his 2024-25 season was cut short by a torn labrum in his right shoulder. Murphy would be a quality third/fourth option for the Lakers, depending on what would happen with Austin Reaves. Most importantly, he is a solid three-point shooter, with a career average of 38.3%. Murphy is a serviceable defender as well and would be an upgrade over someone like Rui Hachimura. The Pelicans gave Murphy a 4-year, $121 million extension in 2024, and under normal circumstances, would have no interest in parting ways this soon. These aren't normal circumstances, though. Following a disastrous 2024-25 season in which they had a 21-61 record, the Pelicans are gauging the market for everyone on their roster. We might have a fire sale on the cards. As for what the Lakers would have to give up to get Murphy, you'd imagine Hachimura, who'll earn $18.2 million in 2025-26, would be part of the package. Adding Dalton Connect, $4 million, and Shake Milton, $3.0 million, would solve the salary matching problem. The Lakers would also have to give up their 2031 first-round pick along with some pick swaps. That's about as good of an offer as they can put on the table without including Reaves. Would this be an acceptable deal for the Pelicans? Perhaps, but they will get offers from other teams as well if Murphy is available. Players like him are very much in demand in the NBA. You could make an argument that the Lakers should be using these assets to solve their biggest need at center. They can get a quality starting caliber big with this kind of a package. Scoring also isn't really a massive issue for the Lakers with LeBron James and Luca Donic on the roster. Sure, it wouldn't hurt to have a player of Murphy's caliber among their ranks, but they'd be better off addressing the issues that caused their downfall in the playoffs. We listed out the 3 steps the Lakers need to take to become contenders in the West. If all those boxes are ticked, you would back them to go a lot further in the playoffs in 2026 than they did this year. It is a lot easier said than done, though. Luca Donic on what he likes and dislikes about Los Angeles. There is only one thing about Los Angeles that Luca Donic doesn't like. Luca Donic got the shock of his life when the Dallas Mavericks traded him to the Los Angeles Lakers in February. Donic had not seen the move coming and now had to adjust to living in Los Angeles. It was a big culture change, and the Slovenian spoke about what he likes and dislikes about Los Angeles on the Mind the Game podcast. This is the first city I've played in that has the ocean, and I really like the ocean, Donic said. After a couple of days, that was the first thing on my mind. I like it very much. The only thing is the traffic. Co-host LeBron James co-signed on traffic being a big headache. That would be a common complaint for anyone who lives in Los Angeles. Steve Nash, the other co-host, wondered if a character like Donic disliked the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but that's not something he's bothered by. Every time there is famous people watching the game sitting courtside, that's amazing to see, Donic stated. James revealed that the first thing Donic told him when he asked him how he was adjusting was, "I like the beach." If there is one thing Los Angeles isn't lacking, it's beaches. The Lakers also did their best to ensure that Donic was comfortable after the move. They were very supportive and included him in various processes as well. Despite all this, though, there was concern that Los Angeles might not be the right city for him. His father, Sasa Donic, however, allayed those fears. Sasa stated that Donic was born to play in Los Angeles. "We know that Luca plays better when the pressure is bigger," Sasa said. "I just believe that he is born for this city and this city is made for him. I won't say literally, but it fits with his character. I believe he'll succeed there." Donic has done well, for the most part, in his short time with the Lakers. The five-time All-Star averaged 28.2 points, 8.1 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.4 blocks per game after being traded by the Mavericks. Donic helped the Lakers get the third seed in the Western Conference with a 50-32 record. They entered the playoffs with a lot of momentum, but didn't end up going too far. The Minnesota Timberwolves eliminated the Lakers in 5 games in the first round. Donic was criticized for his play in the series, especially on the defensive end. The 26-year-old was still the Lakers' best player on offense, though, and finished with averages of 30.2 points, 7.0 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.0 steals, and 0.6 blocks per game. You'd expect better things next season once Donic is fully settled in with this group, and he's apparently been hard at work. His conditioning and weight have been big talking points, and he looked to have slimmed down when he attended a Real Madrid game in May. That is reportedly down to Donic modifying his diet and undergoing special training. He appears motivated to bury all the negative narratives about him next season and lead the Lakers to glory. LeBron James player option just part of Lakers' summer agenda. The next few months are crucial for the Lakers as they look to improve their roster for the 2025-26 season. So what exactly are their key needs and resources? With the calendar turning from May to June, the Lakers have entered a crucial period of the offseason. And with the expectation of significant movement throughout the league this summer, and the Lakers looking to shake up their roster after back-to-back first-round playoff exits, the next couple of months will be crucial to their quest to improve the roster for the 2025-26 season. "We know we have a lot of work to do on the roster," General Manager Rob Pelinka said during his joint end-of-season media availability with coach J.J. Redick. "And it will look different next year, for sure." Where does the Lakers roster stand ahead of free agency starting later in the month? What resources will they have to improve the roster? Here are the key things to know for the Lakers offseason. Salary cap/roster situation. The Lakers have 8 players signed to guaranteed contracts for next season: Luca Donic, $45.9 million, Rui Hachimura, $18.3 million, Austin Reeves, $13.9 million, Jared Vanderbilt, $11.6 million, Gabe Vincent, $11.5 million, Maxi Kleber, $11 million, Dalton Connect, $4 million, and Bronny James, $1.9 million. 004. Those salaries combine for $118.1 million, leaving the Lakers $36.5 million below the salary cap of $154.6 million for next season. But the Lakers aren't expected to have cap space, and will likely operate as a luxury tax team, if not a first-apron team, once decisions on player and team options are made. LeBron James, $52.6 million, and Dorian Finney-Smith, $15.4 million, had player options for the 2025-26 season with deadlines of June 29 and June 30, respectively. ESPN's Shams Charania reported that James will likely opt into his player option, which would be an unprecedented 23rd NBA season for James. James opting in would put the Lakers at 9 players on the roster combining for about $170.7 million in salary, $17.2 million away from the luxury tax line of $187.9 million, $25.2 million away from the first apron, $195.9 million, and $37.1 million away from the second apron, $207.8 million. If Finney-Smith and Jordan Goodwin, $2.3 million team option, June 29 deadline, return on similar salaries for 2025 to 26, the Lakers would eclipse the luxury tax by close to $1 million and have 11 players signed, 3 fewer than the minimum of 14 that all NBA teams are required to carry. That's before factoring in Shake Milton's $3 million non-guaranteed salary for 2025 to 26, July 20 deadline, and their unrestricted free agents, Jackson Hayes, Markieff Morris and Alex Len. Resources/needs. The Lakers could have access to the $14.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception, but using it would hard-cap them at the first apron, leaving them little flexibility. Using the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level exception, which would hard-cap them at the second apron, seems like the more likely outcome. The Lakers would hard-cap themselves at the first apron if they acquired a player in a sign-and-trade and/or take back more money than they send out in a trade. They'd hard-cap themselves at the second apron if they aggregated contracts in a trade. Speaking of trades, although the Lakers don't have a first-round pick in this year's draft, June 25 to 26, they can trade one first-round pick, 2031 or 2032, not both, had the right to swap any of their 5 first-round picks, 2026, 28, 30, 31 and 32, and have one tradable second-round pick, the number 55 pick in this year's draft. The Lakers have made their need for a big man, and probably more than one, clear. Pelinka also mentioned wanting to make upgrades on the wings. In terms of center traits, it would be great to have a center that was a vertical threat, lob threat, and someone that could protect the interior defensively. Those would be key, he said. But there's multiple different types of centers that can be very effective in the league. There's also spread centers that can protect the rim. We'll look at those as well. I wouldn't want to limit the archetype, but we know we need a big man. Pelinka added, and in terms of just solidifying our defensive core on the wings and just making sure that we have players that can defend the wing position, that's an essential need. We see it playing out in the playoffs, and anytime you can upgrade your defensive core on the perimeter, that's going to help. Other dates. July 6, Reeves, Hachimura, and Vincent become eligible for contract extensions. August 2, Donic becomes eligible for a contract extension. Breaking down Luca Doncic's contract extension options with the Lakers. Luca Donic becomes extension eligible on August 2, but he has a few different paths he could explore this offseason. On August 2, Luca Donic will become eligible to sign a 4-year, $228.6 million contract extension with the Lakers. Despite all signs pointing to him remaining in Los Angeles, there's no guarantee that he'll actually sign such a deal, though. Had he not gotten shipped to LA ahead of this year's trade deadline, Doncic would have been eligible to sign a 5-year, $345.3 million Supermax extension with the Dallas Mavericks since he made an All-NBA team both in 2022-23 and 2023-24. He might look to recoup some of that lost earning potential by signing a shorter extension with the Lakers this summer that allows him to test free agency again sooner. There's also no guarantee that he signs an extension at all. He might prefer to see how the Lakers round out the roster around him this offseason and at next year's trade deadline before committing to them long-term. He could make more money as a free agent in 2026 than he can by signing an extension this summer, although he wouldn't have the financial security that an extension would provide if he suffers a major injury next season. So, which path should Doncic choose? Let's walk through the pros and cons for all three. The standard extension. This is the most straightforward option for the Lakers. The most they can offer Doncic this offseason is a fully guaranteed 4-year, $228.6 million extension. 2026-27, $51,033,600. 2027-28, $55,116,288. 2028-29, $59,198,976. 2029-30, $63,281,664. Total, $228,630,528. This also might be the option that Doncic is least likely to agree to. The plus side of this path is that Doncic would be locking in $225 plus million of financial security. It would give him a safety net if he suffered a major injury next season that jeopardized his availability for the 2026-27 campaign. With that said, there's a chance that he'd still receive a full max contract as a free agent in 2026 even if he did. Doncic might not prefer this path because it would restrict his overall earning potential. He could earn an extra $67.4 million from the Lakers in 2030-31 by becoming a free agent next summer, while a shorter-term extension would allow him to test free agency again sooner, when he's eligible for an even larger deal. If Doncic isn't worried about receiving the most money he possibly can over the next half-decade, perhaps he will entertain this option. Besides, if he continues along his first-team All-NBA trajectory over the next few years, he might be in line for an even higher salary in 2030-31 than he would be if he signed a 5-year deal in free agency next summer. Becoming a free agent. Doncic could decide to eschew signing an extension entirely, which would give the Lakers one full season to prove that they have a post-LeBron James succession plan in place. In that scenario, the Lakers would be allowed to offer Doncic a 5-year deal worth nearly $296 million. 2026-27, $51,033,600. 2027-28, $55,116,288. 2028-29, $59,198,976. 2029-30, $63,281,664. 2030-31, $67,364,352. Total, $295,994,880. Other teams could offer Doncic no more than a 4-year, $219.4 million deal, which is nearly $10 million less than the extension he can sign with the Lakers this summer. 2026-27, $51,033,600. 2027-28, $53,585,280. 2028-29, $56,136,960. 2029-30, $58,688,640. Total, $219,444,480. Multiple teams do seem to be keeping their books clean for 2026, including the Los Angeles Clippers and Miami Heat, so Doncic might be interested in exploring all of his options before committing to the Lakers. However, he'd be better off financially signing an extension this offseason and then angling for a trade down the line, as that could also widen his options for potential landing spots. The main reason for Doncic to turn down an extension this offseason would be to lock in the extra $67.4 million for the 2030-31 season if he re-signed with the Lakers. With that said, that might also not be optimal from a financial perspective. As long as Doncic continues along his current trajectory, he should have no issue landing another max contract beginning at 35% of the salary cap after his next deal expires. Since the cap is expected to rise 10% annually for the next few years due to the new national TV deals, and those raises compound, unlike annual raises in players' contract, 35% of the cap in 2030 will likely be well above $67.4 million. That's why a shorter-term extension might be Doncic's best bet. The short-term extension. Getting traded from the Mavericks took a 35% max contract off the table for Doncic this offseason. To maximize his earning potential, he'd have to become a free agent as soon as he has enough years of service, 10, to qualify for a 35% max deal. Doncic just finished his 7th NBA season and has one guaranteed year left on his contract. If he signed a 3-year, $165.3 million max extension with a 3rd-year player option this summer, he could decline his $59.2 million player option in 2028-29 and sign a 5-year max deal worth more than $415 million that offseason.